As the 2018 MLB Draft quickly approaches, it's time to take an in-depth look at some of the top prospects in this year's class. Up next is Brady Singer, a flame-throwing right-handed pitcher from the University of Florida who could be in the big leagues sooner rather than later. More, MLB Mock Draft 2018, who does Brady Singer land with? The skinny, after being the second highest drafted player not to sign in 2015, 56th overall by the Blue Jays, Brady Singer arrived at the University of Florida surrounded by lofty expectations and had many people wondering if the then 19-year-old should have opted for the likely seven-figure signing bonus and turned pro. 3 years later, as he stands poised to be taken within the first few picks of the 2018 draft, it appears that Singer made the right decision. After a freshman campaign that saw him accumulate an era near 5-23 appearances, 22 of which came out of the bullpen, the rising sophomore made a name for himself in the Cape Cod League, in which he started 4 games for the Falmouth Commodores, posting a 1-0 record and 0.82 ERA against the best college hitters in the nation. The following spring, he moved full-time into the Gators' starting rotation and was integral in their run to national title. As the 6'5", 210-pound Singer went 9-5 with a 3.21 ERA in 126 innings pitched, while striking out 129 batters against only 32 walks. That season he was named to the All-SEC second team and to the College World Series All-Tournament team. This spring has been Singer's masterpiece, as the junior is currently 10-1 with a 2.25 ERA in 88 innings on the mound. He struck out 92 batters while only walking 18 in 2018, and will likely up that number as Florida heads into the SEC and NCAA postseason. More than likely, Singer will garner first-team All-SEC recognition this spring, as well as All-American accolades. He's also recently been named one of 25 semifinalists for college baseball's Golden Spikes Award, given annually to the best amateur player in the nation. More, everything you need to know about the 2018 MLB Draft. The pros, with a fastball that routinely set in the mid-90s with late life, it was no surprise that Singer was a high draft pick as a high school senior in 2015. Now, after 3 years in Gainesville, the Eustis, Florida, native has added a deceptive slider and an above-average changeup to his repertoire that has major league clubs clamoring for a chance to take him early in the first round on June 4. Along with advanced stuff on the mound, Singer also has outstanding command and can locate all 3 pitches, regardless of count. In his career at Florida, he struck out 259 batters in 257.2 innings pitched, while walking only 67, good for nearly a 4-to-1 K/BB ratio. Scouts also love Singer's athletic frame, and even though he's put on upward of 20 pounds in college, they believe a little added muscle could turn his already nasty arsenal even nastier. Learn more about potential No. 1 overall pick Casey Mize. The cons, much like fellow college right-hander Casey Mize, the biggest concern about Singer is his ceiling. Some scouts question how much better clubs could expect him to become over the course of his time in the minors, given the already advanced nature of his 3 pitches. Those teams picking at the top of the draft with doubts will have to decide whether they believe the 2018 version of Brady Singer is good enough to be an effective big league pitcher. There is also a question of where Singer fits on a professional pitching staff. Is he a clear-cut No. 1 starter, like Mize? A back-of-the-rotation starter? Or is he better served beginning his career in the bullpen to gain experience in limited innings before moving him into a starting role? These are questions prospective clubs must consider, then weigh the answers against the value of their pick position in the first round. More, recap the first 2 rounds of the 2017 MLB Draft. The projection, deciding where and how to use a talented pitcher like Brady Singer is a good problem for a team picking at the top of the draft to have. Like Mize, the questions surrounding Singer's ceiling should not be a deterrent to clubs within the top 10 picks. Singer's body of work at Florida, a school that has produced multiple first-round draft picks on the mound in recent years, is very impressive. It's also relatively certain that, regardless of when it happens, Singer will be a starter as a professional. That may be the key to figuring out where he is taken in the first round, as a team like the Philadelphia Phillies, which owns the third overall pick and is surprisingly in contention for the NL East title 2 months into the MLB season, could look at Singer and see a player that could help them immediately in their quest for the postseason. That could prompt the Phillies to select him and place him into the bullpen, where he can use his talent to quickly rise through the minors and be available for the big league club in time for a stretch run. There is precedent for this move, as the Kansas City Royals did the exact same thing with TCU's Brandon Finnegan in 2015, allowing Finnegan to be the first player to ever pitch in the College World Series and Major League World Series in the same year. While that is certainly one path teams could take with Singer, others could go a more traditional route and give the righty a few years in the minors before calling him up. Whatever course he ends up on, Singer will not remain on the board long, as most believe he will not make it past the 10th pick.